All right, it is 6 o'clock, and I would like to call this Town of Selma Recreation Advisory Board meeting for August 19th, 2025, in the Selma Jernigan Building to order. First thing we have is the approval of the agenda. Staff have any changes that need to be made? Take a quick look at it. Are there any changes you see, omissions, things that we need to have on there? Approve it.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda. Approval of the minutes. Again, stellar job on the minutes. If you had time to read them, they got emailed. I did not see anything that was needed to be adjusted for the minutes.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty. So, tonight we have special guests. We have all council and the mayor here. And so we are looking forward to item number 4, which is direction from the mayor and council. I don't know if you guys have divvied up. I will give everybody an opportunity because we would love to hear from council and the mayor. So go ahead and whoever wants to start, go ahead. And
Good evening, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. It's been quite a bit happening, even on the Parks and Rec side here in Johnston County and Selma, North Carolina. As you see, they are digging out Michener Station as we speak, and we anticipate that being moved in the next 3 to 4 weeks at the latest over to the train depot. So certainly go by and look at the pad that they have scraped out and staked out currently in front of our Selma Union Station, and make sure that we don't have any questions, concerns about the landing spot for Michener Station, as we do anticipate that area being a premier and pristine park for the town of Selma. Quite impressive piece for folks visiting our town on the train or passing through our town on the train to see in Selma, North Carolina. That is one of many parks and recreation major projects that are happening within Selma and Johnston County at this point in time. We do have, of course, the recent acquisition of a Selma Nature Preserve, Selma, North Carolina. 95 plus acres of land has been acquired through TLC. And with that, we've also received a $500,000 grant through the Great State Trails Grant Program to make sure that we build that thing up. And that money is being matched with the purchase of the actual land. Again, all done through TLC. Johnston County has been a big cheerleader for that project. Adrian O'Neill of Johnston County Parks and Recreation, and many others have been very helpful in getting that project off the ground, and are very excited about Selma's trails and parks future. As part of that Johnston County conversation, there is a central trunk trail line being planned by Johnston County that will go through Selma, North Carolina. So one of the top priority plans that is part of the McAdams study for Johnston County is a line that pretty much takes you down Anderson Street all the way to 95 and beyond to take a trail that'll get you to Pine Level. That is something that Johnston County wants to do, and that we can easily tack on to with our trails coming away from the nature preserve and beyond. So not only do we have a major interest in our parks and recreation and trails future, but Johnston County and the state of North Carolina does as well, particularly when we're talking about the East Coast Greenway and the Mountain to Sea Trail. Beyond that, of course, we are hoping to upgrade all of our parks throughout our town. The Richard B. Harrison Athletic Complex, Brack Wilson Park are our most immediate major parks to really upgrade. We have all said that Brack Wilson should be a showpiece in this community. Richard B. Harrison can be a showpiece in this community. And then our various satellite parks as well. Those conversations, of course, this advisory board hopefully will stay on top of and have numerous recommendations for over the coming years as we build out those projects. Has everyone gotten a chance to look at the multimodal plan study that was done for us by Stantec through NCDOT? No?
What's the most recent update on it? What date is the most recent?
I don't know the date, but we've got the final.
Okay.
So we need to get that in your hands.
Oh, it was that one? Okay.
Oh, okay. So we have seen it. Very good. Very good. That's a lot of information in there. Please study it. The input from them is merely guidance for our town based on what NCDOT knows and based on their expertise. We still have to tweak our own plans and then pursue funding and planning for multimodal throughout Selma, North Carolina. So that's a big piece of that conversation. And again, we do not have fully developed plans for the Selma Union Depot Park. We do not have fully developed plans. In fact, we don't have any developed plans for the Nature Preserve yet. That $500,000 grant will be the first part of those plans, which will be coming across your desk for recommendation over the next few months. Otherwise, we have exciting times in Johnston County. A lot of work to do, a lot of decisions need to be made, and these decisions, quite frankly, some of them are going to have to be made in short order because we have a county moving, and as a state, they are making decisions that we're going to have to jump on quickly if we want to take advantage of particularly grant dollars that are coming down to make things happen. Does anybody have any questions for me in particular?
I do not.
Council? Add anything?
Don't be shy. We won't bite.
I do.
Council?
I guess you know, William Overby, 1107 Dixie Drive. Let me change that, 1107 Dixie Drive. I asked I'll start with the chairman of the board. Where were you at with Park and Recs with our kids?
As far as
Sports.
we offer 8. Nine opportunities probably throughout the year for them to participate in sports with the town of Selma.
And how well are they received of signing up?
It depends on what you have for, indoor soccers are easily the highest participation that we have. The others have fluctuated. Not as good as we would like. So we have, last year we had quite a few soccer, basketball, and indoor soccer. And I haven't seen or I haven't looked at all the numbers for this year, but I know a lot of the other numbers went down.
So do we have a plan to pull those back up? I know we have a future plan in place, right?
So so to build on that, yes, I was at I've been to the last couple of council meetings. And so I saw the breakdown, and part of going forward with this is hopefully that, I am going to request some opportunity or some time to go in and inspect, to talk with Alexis, because one of the reasons I honestly believe we have a revolving door of kids that are coming in and going out is the consistency of what we have to offer, in what we do. So I'm hoping that I get an opportunity to go in and talk with her. You know that I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and I've seen a plethora of folks come and go, and we need to get something down. We need to get a standing operating procedure. We need to get some consistency across the board so that when the folks sign up, they know what they're getting. They can talk to, I mean, I have people call me all the time, wanting to know if they can sign up, they can't sign up, they miss the deadlines. I have noticed that across the county, we're still searching, depends on where you go, but other municipalities are still looking for coaches. It seems to be a rough spot right now. But again, it goes back to, in the past, we have had quite a few good coaches. We've had folks volunteer. And so we need to do a better job of retaining those. And we've started multiple times on retaining them, and then we have turnover. So it's not an excuse. It's just the fact of what it is. At least that's what I believe. So,
Thank you for your honesty.
Anybody else?
How are y'all?
Good.
I just had a couple of questions. What do you think, is the biggest turnoff for people not coming to Selma to play? Is it cost? Is it our fee schedule? I mean, why are we not having kids to sign up for football and basketball?
Ease and convenience to get to the information.
Mm.
I will be brutally honest. I just did this with my daughter and grandson last night on the front porch of her house. The information is not easily accessible to those who do not know where to find it.
Good input, good input. And what about, the fee schedule? Did y'all have any input into the pricing?
In the very beginning, we had a conversation about fee schedules and what was going to be appropriate.
Right?
I'm sorry, when you say in the very beginning, can you? I
So
guess,
back in,
when are you referring to very beginning? Cause I'm like, I've only been on the council for a year, and I know that there hadn't been a conversation about fee schedule, because even several months ago when I asked about questions, because I knew we were getting that the town council was gonna be looking at the fee schedule, we didn't get any information, and it was when the council gets it, then y'all can get a copy, but I still had not seen it, so. That's why I was asking for clarification about in the beginning, cause that's not recent, that's that's been at least a year ago, because I've been on the board a year.
right. So as far as the board goes, probably not. Myself, I have had involvement in developing that fee schedule. And yeah, I could probably tell where you're going with this, and I am one of those people that I do think it's above and beyond.
Right.
We constantly look around all the way from Princeton to Smithfield to Micro, and then what they have to offer, because we do. I mean, my son has played in a lot of different teams, and we have parents that go other places, and so we're able to talk with them. We're able to talk with them about what they have to offer and their schedules, and
So you think that might be one of the drawbacks, is our fee? Okay, that's important for us to know. You know, reach out to any of us if, you know, we'll put our 2 cents in when we have meetings about it, but unless we know, we can't help you.
Right.
with it. So feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Yeah, there's got to be a better happy medium for what we offer and how we are going to present that. Because right now, I do. I think it's too much for what we have to offer.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's-
do too. I agree. I've grown up here my entire life, and when we were coming along, we had all kinds of things to do. Selma Elementary had a league every summer. We played basketball. We had softball, girls' league and boys, and I'd love to see some that come back here, but I think it has to be affordable for the people who live here. So that's a real concern of mine.
And part of that is, and I appreciate you bringing it up, but I don't want to get sidetracked, but that is one of the things that we have asked for is a breakdown of sports, the athletics, what it costs, because we have ideas and we've voiced those opinions on where to save money and doing things. And if we can get more organized, we shouldn't be buying jerseys last minute. We shouldn't be signing up for refs last minute. We shouldn't be doing all this stuff last minute, because what happens when you buy stuff last minute? The price goes up.
That's true.
So when I look at the breakdown of the last years for the athletics, it just raises more questions. And we want to have the best and we want to offer the best. I understand that. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we have a product that we can get to a lot of kids. I want to make sure that a lot of the kids have the opportunity to come in and play and enjoy. And if it's out of reach for everybody, then
Right.
they'll just go other places, or we just won't have a program. And we keep trying to expand, and I'm part of what's on my list to talk about is, we have had conversations and we've talked about what is appropriate for the town of Selma to offer.
Well, I appreciate that, and we're looking to you all to tell us because you're the advisory board. So anytime you need us, reach out. And thank you. I appreciate the input.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm sorry. I just want to jump on that fee schedule thing for 1 minute, because I know in a recent council meeting when the fee schedule was discussed, yes, we all want to be proud of Selma, but Selma has to, in some ways, Selma Parks and Rec has just got to step up. Because I'm sorry, we're given a fee schedule and says this is what it's going to be to play. We raise prices. There were some improvements made, not necessarily a lot of improvements that were made to be like, well, why am I going to go to Selma versus going to Smithfield or going to wherever? And I don't know about y'all. I don't necessarily think that I'm a very prideful person, but when I'm looking at my finances, if I can't afford it, I'm not going to go to the town and say, hey, my kids want to play, but I can't afford it. Not when we might be charging $65 and I can drive 5 minutes away to Smithfield across the railroad tracks, and the out-of-town rate is lower than what my Selma in-town rate is. Or I can drive to Micro or Pine Level, because we have these other small municipalities that are so close. If there is not something that is like, Selma's the top dog in indoor soccer, because I will say I think we have an amazing indoor soccer program, then that's the reason to stay in Selma. But when you're looking at some of these other sports, in some ways you can kind of give or take. Ooh, what town do I want to go and play Smithfield? Go and play basketball at. So if we're not across the board doing something to make us stand out, I think because with so many small communities in this area, which is part of what makes this area great, I'm not going to go to this town and go, oh, I can't afford to play basketball. Do we have any sponsorship opportunities or scholarship programs or anything like that? Because we have approved those policies, but I don't necessarily know that people in the town know that we have them to apply for them if they are financially in a position for this sports season where their kid might not be able to play, or they can pay it for two of their kids, but then they've got to choose a third kid that can't play because they've got multiple kids. And I can say that as, you know, family with multiple kids that play, and I know Don has multiple kids and the mayor has multiple kids. You know, I can't pick and choose and say, okay, you can play, but you can't play because neither one of my kids are going to play then. But at the same time, if I can drive just a little bit further and get it at the same price or cheaper, or actually not at the same price, but cheaper, I'm going to drive that because then both of my kids can play. So I think we've got to be able to justify whatever the fee is and make our program stand out, and also make our community aware of programs that we have to offer them if they are struggling.
I tend to agree. You have nailed it on the head for me. Value versus cost.
I think the honest truth to your question, you guys set the price. You're the council. There's an expectation of what has to be delivered. Our job's to be somewhere in the middle of that, to deliver that. But honestly, if you want a certain amount delivered, you got to make the decision. It's either going to cost the public this much in registration, or the town's going to kick in to pay for that.
Sure.
And that's on you guys to make that. We'll make everything we possibly can out of every dollar. I promise you that. Everybody sitting up here has made some pennies squeal to try to figure out how to make things work. But I don't know that we can set that price or tell you a great price to put it at. We can give some advice a little bit, but at the end of the day, you guys are the ones responsible to, you know, to set that price. But then if you tell us we got to deliver this product with this price, you just got to tell us where that money's coming from.
That's absolutely right. I told a story earlier today about going to Wendy's and my daughter ordering 4 junior cheeseburgers and a shake. And my assumption was as I would get up to the line and they'd be like $6. I was like, oh yeah, piece of cake. And my young lady at the window said $14.23. Cost of doing business versus the need to actually be able to make revenue to cover the cost. And then the question is somewhere in between, do we want to tell our population that, hey, you might be retired, but you're subsidizing sports? Can we have that conversation? And lately I've heard that's not a conversation folks want to have. Beyond that, what's the level we are providing if we are putting out this price? What's the fee? And I tend to agree with Ms. Bundy that if we are going to charge, we're going to need to really get our game together and have a real value for why you come to Selma. I think the folks in Kinley were thrilled to come to Selma, North Carolina to play indoor soccer because they were like, you folks have it down. I think we need to have that conversation with every sport and then find out what's the cost to produce it versus what's the cost that we're going to charge folks to play it. Wonderful conversation. Any other questions in particular?
I think to piggyback off of that, though, you do have to look at it like a business, but you have to take in mind or keep in mind when you're looking at the numbers. We might go in the red on football because it has more equipment or whatever, but if we're triple in the black, you're breaking out even. And also take into consideration, okay, people might not want to subsidize Parks and Rec, but do you know what happens when you're bringing more families in because their kids are playing? That means you're bringing more people in that are going to be going to Pixie Dust on a Saturday in between soccer games to grab lunch, or walking down to coffee on, going from Pixie Dust to Coffee on Rayford to grab coffee, or swinging by Coffee on Rayford on their way to Harrison to play the sport. So it's not just, oh, we're subsidizing these sports and I don't have any kids, my kids are all grown up. It's not just about the sports, it's about the whole town, because if you bring, it's like Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. Get the kids here, somebody's got to bring them. So parents sometimes like to go shopping and, there's Eastfield. Oh, you you forgot your socks or you ripped your socks, forgot your shin guards, let's go to Academy Sports and, you know, oh, look what else they have over here. And then we'll come back after our game and do whatever. So it helps the town as a whole. It's not just, oh, well, we're losing money on Parks and Rec, but how has getting those parents and those families here helped the town? Regardless of, okay, we lost this much in this department. Okay, but how much did having those kids and families here help the town overall? Because it's a give and take. It's not a, oh, it's not doing good, we gotta cut it. It doesn't work that way, in my opinion.
All interesting points, and certainly something we'll all have to take in consideration as we work on our programs going forward. Anything else for me? Anything else for us?
Anything else?
You guys are rocking and rolling. Again, a lot happening in Parks and Rec in Johnston County. So thank you for being willing to volunteer your time. Volunteerism is dying, and it's wonderful to see folks willing to do the work and doing it correctly. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have discussions and presentations next. First one up is the mulch project. And I see that we have a bunch of pictures about mulch that was put in all the parks. Okay.
And do we have, I know at one time it was being worked on, like a plan schedule type thing of being able to now possibly in the future stagger mulch replacement, because we know mulch doesn't last forever. And so it was so that we don't all get hit with, oh, we've got to pay $20,000 or whatever this year to replace all the mulch. So we might could do it in staggered increments.
I know the dream was to replace mulch with the rubber matting, but that also is another cost.
Right. But it also, and it has an impact on the shelf life
Yes.
of the mulch too, so. Just
When-
something.
Sorry. When was this installed? When was the mulch put down?
The pictures were then as well. The pictures were made.
It looks nice.
It does look nice. Is there a maintenance schedule or anything for people to? For the crews to visit and, you know, mulch is missing outside, you know how kids are. Put it back inside, like when they're mowing the grass or something. Great.
And does that include, I know a lot of, or they were getting, multiple parks had gotten out, weeds, dug out, so all that is part of the maintenance plan for them to go back and,
Beautiful.
do you know what the lifespan of the mulch that we put down was?
Most days it's not like, most days, because it just gets kicked out.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of it goes instead of.
Questions, comments? I know that was a project that had been on the list for quite a while. Thank you. 25-26 budget information. Anything in particular?
There was discussion about fee schedule. If there's ever an item that you want to see added to the agenda, you are welcome to email Dalton and ask for something to be added for discussion, whether that's an idea, a thought, or an item you want to see. have not received that since I've been here. And I know oftentimes there's frustration based on past conversations and things being asked 3 times to someone else. I would love the opportunity for it to be asked to me for the first time. So, please feel free to ask me these questions. Thank you.
Anything on there you see that? I can't see it.
Glaring at me, but I'll tear the numbers apart later.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to look at them.
Okay.
Would you all like this on next month, next meeting?
Yes, please.
Motion and second for table.
You said it first, so I'll let you motion.
I make a motion that we table the discussion for the budget till our next meeting.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Six, business items. Board elections.
Chair and vice chair, and so this will be your time to do so.
We vote to keep it the same.
Do I have a motion?
I motion to keep it the same.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you know what they were? Probably on these, huh?
Yes.
Board or the chairman, because we're just
It's right
gonna.
here.
No. we're gonna
It's on the
same.
inside.
Mm-hmm.
It's on it.
Perfect. Yep. All right. Okay, and there, number 7 is something that, going to council meetings that I thought was a good idea, so I've added it, and we have been doing it for a while now, is the board members' report and recommendations. Start with Sarah.
Going off the budget, I was wondering if we, for our next meeting, could we have a report out on Railroad Days and how sponsorships went, and it's a landmark year? So we know what happened. Thank you. Thank you.
Anthony.
A lot of mine are gonna come with the next one, because it'll be after we have our part, grant information. I guess the first one, it's one I've been asking about for a while, and I know it's been moved off and moved off and moved off, but, the move of South Sumner, the park, to the other location, if we're gonna be able to do that or we're not. If we're not, then it can be thrown off the table, but right now it is technically on the plan. So. That would be greatly appreciated. So I'll make that one,
Okay.
my statements, and then let you go on your paper.
Are you-
We had the conversation with the board, and they're still here, and all great topics. Selma has an opportunity to be amazing in this department. Parks and Rec is an underlying cornerstone for all good communities. It really is. If you go to a town and you see that they have good greenways and good parks, and you see kids playing in them, and you see all that kind of stuff, you see these towns that are just alive. Selma has an opportunity. We have a baseball field that honestly, once we get it back to where it should be, we will be able to get Little League coming through here playing baseball, which is an amazing thing. We have a sports complex down the street here that hopefully through this next Part F, we will get, cross our fingers, and be able to start turning into even more so that we won't just say indoor soccer is our thing. We'll say soccer's our thing. And that's a big accomplishment. But we still have other places we got to work on. Like we got this nature park coming. It's going to be phenomenal. And believe me, I'm going to have my fingers all in getting that thing to where it needs to be. But we have to make sure we remember that it's not just youth sports, because that's not all Parks and Rec services, period. Kids play a sport on a team an hour a week, maybe 2. It's every other hour of the week that we gotta have stuff to be able to do. You know, little parks where they can go play on the playground, greenways that they can walk on, that adults can walk on, that moms with strollers can go on. That kid can't play sports for years, but he's in that stroller. That mom needs that greenway. So, just saying, Selma's got an awesome opportunity. We need y'all's help to make sure we can make that happen. Because I promise you, we will come up with ideas and plans that we will never be able to accomplish with them because we can't come up with enough money to do them. But we need y'all's help to accomplish what we can.
Thank you.
One thing, not necessarily a request for next meeting. I know, some of us were frustrated. I'm sure some of the town staff and things were disappointed in some of the registration numbers. I am only saying this because I have actually had members of town, when they've seen me or send me text messages and ask me about it, I actually found out because of football and everything. I found out yesterday because I have somebody trying out for soccer at the middle school, that even Selma Middle School is struggling to have enough football players. Like, they were recruiting kids that were trying out for soccer to try out for both sports because they needed like 7 more players to have a full squad. So when it comes to football, it wasn't just the town of Selma Parks and Rec that appears to be having low registration numbers. I don't know how other towns were, because I don't have any kids that play football anymore. He's aged out of playing sports, but I thought that was interesting, and so I wanted to share that, especially since we had a larger audience tonight, that it wasn't just Parks and Rec. Even some of the schools seem to be having some low tryout numbers. I know that in prior months, we had received a tentative calendar schedule for registrations. So I guess a question for next month is that still the plan? Is that still the schedule? I know sometimes with staff turnover, that's why I'm asking the question. I am sure that y'all hate it when we bring it up. I have questions in regards to the signage for registration, just because the signage at registration to me for the fall did not seem as prominent as it has been in prior years. Unfortunately, we all know it. You got to see something multiple times before it's going to click. Oh yeah, I need to go and register. Oh yeah, that. And it wasn't even just the signage. And we know IT algorithms stink sometimes, but even some of our posting did not seem as consistent. This is not meant to be judgmental or anything, but I think it just goes to reinforce that need for, I think it was at one of our last meetings, I had asked, could we get some standard operating procedures for what steps and how often and where to post signs and all of that when it comes to registration. And I think especially looking at some of these fall numbers, it makes it, before we get into winter, let's go ahead and work on those standard operating procedures possibly so that, you know, we have a bad week, we don't want to have a bad month or a bad year or whatever. So if we can get that groundwork set, hopefully by next meeting, we can go ahead and go into winter with strong numbers. I think that's all. No, I got two more things in case you don't already know the answers to these. Could we have some follow-up discussion on the Carolina Thunder and the Johnston County football stuff? I know back in March we were kind of rushed with going through some contracts, and I had thought some of that was supposed to have started by now, and some of that was also going to be including some supplemental trainings for some of our youth. So just to get us that, and you know, we know contracts flop all the time, so if that's kind of what happened, then that's just kind of what happens.
I'll give you a short update. So Carolina Thunder has been active. Flyer together. Get that offer out there, but that has been going on. Johnson County Football Club did not go through, so that has not been active. For other reasons, but did not.
So the Carolina Thunder, they have already been doing their Sunday trainings?
Correct.
For how long? Do we know who's showing up?
Is it being,
I come back from maternity leave, so bear with me. We're working on getting a more set schedule with him, something more documented so that I can control when it's going on too. So I can have staff there that communicate back with me, things of that sort. So we actually, this week, we're actually working on that with him, getting a more definite schedule so I can get dates on the flyer, more accurate information out to the public. Cause they also play tournament ball, so it's depending on their schedule, depends on the facets, skill training. So I want to get definite dates, hey, so the parent can plan next week and he's having, I want my kid there, kind of thing. So just bear with me, I'm working on getting that out for y'all.
And so part of the agreement that we had with Carolina Thunder as I speak, so how long is this going to go for? And so I'll just be straightforward. My question is that if it takes another 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get a flyer out so we let the public here know that we have this, we're already 5 sessions in, and if they're only doing 10 sessions, we lost out on 5.
yeah, cause I'm like, I didn't even know they've done, cause I do have kids that would be interested in that and didn't even know it had happened.
I think it's a valid question. I think it's also the first. So our first kind of working agreement with the organization that was not going to be perfect, and that you just heard to our so it's not perfect. You're right. We have had to rumble through and figure out what works and what doesn't work. So that is the answer to that.
That's all.
So last but not least, so I do have some things, I know Alexis started it off and you requested or said that it would be great to give you an opportunity. So, for the time that I have been in Selma, I think I am on my 5th director. I've been here 4 years. So you can see the turnover. So I say this with the stuff that we're talking about and we're requesting is you'll have to take it with a grain of salt also from our end, is that we're getting really, really, really frustrated. I was at council and I saw and I got the email back and I have a copy of your breakdown of the sports. We asked for that a year and a half ago. It's hard for us to do our job and give recommendations. We want to talk about fee schedule. We want to talk about this stuff. It's hard for us to do anything when we can't get anything back. We can guess, we can give all the things we want to do, but it is extremely frustrating to want to do something and come to these meetings and give recommendations, and then it goes all out the door. I mean, we've got QR codes that we were in place. We've got, I'll just stick to the list of the things that I wrote down, is that they're things that I want you to know about, and I want council to know about, so that we can get these things addressed and we can move forward with an advisory board that actually functions as an advisory board, not somebody who sits up here. As you can see, we have a great diversity on this board, for folks who have different interests. We go back and forth because he's great, because he thinks of other things outside. I am going to focus on the kids. I am going to focus on what is going to be best for the kids. It's Kimberly, Sarah, they all offer a different perspective of things that we need to focus on and think about, and how we would like the Parks and Rec to develop in the town of Selma. So, with that said, you know, I don't know about well, I kind of know what the board says, but it was I believe we were caught very much off guard when all of a sudden the bylaws were changed, and now we only meet quarterly. It's really hard when things are moving as quick as they are, and we want to keep things moving when we're only meeting quarterly. If we were doing the job and we were functioning as a board and we were meeting monthly and we were bringing things to the table and we were going forward, we were kind of at a loss. So I'm asking staff, because staff made the request, why did we have to change the bylaws and go back? And we were also, I mean, we would also like to be involved, and it's been talked about more than once, involved in the fee schedule. If the advisory board is the one that is going to be the pulse of the community and what is probably or hopefully talking about how we're moving forward, we should be involved in the fee schedule and at least have the conversation. And the last thing that I will end on, and I know it's been kind of a rant, but I wanted the opportunity, and this was a perfect opportunity. I was going to say this anyway, but it just so happens council is here. So is that we want to be taken seriously. We had multiple discussions about sports. We had multiple discussions about what was going to be offered. I found out by going in and looking, things were added. We gave the recommendation not to add anything more. We want to be focused on the sports that we have, make those good before we go. Now we got 3v outdoor basketball. Now we've got volleyball. All these things were not recommendations that came from this board and moving forward. So we are, again, I'm saying it publicly because we want to be an advisory board that gives recommendations, that goes to council. If not, to be honest, don't see the point of sitting here getting a monthly report or quarterly report on what Parks and Rec staff is doing. You can have anybody come up here and do that. So, sorry about the rant. Sorry about the way, but we have been going down this road. Larry did an extremely, or Anthony, sorry, buddy. Don't know. Going back and forth with the train station, the nature preserve, going back and forth with the Harrison, the Part F grant, and we look forward. We look forward to developing those plans. And if things are going to be moving forward, we're going to need guidance from the staff. We're going to need direction of what you expect. Do you expect the advisory board to give you recommendations on the fee schedule? Do you expect the advisory board to be involved in what is going to be beyond the sketch that you did at the park where the Commissioner Station is going to be moved to, the layout of the nature preserve? I just saw that it was announced that Smithfield has a big portion of their trail is going to go from downtown the Neuse River somewhere. I didn't get to see it, but I know that they are adding a big portion of that trail too. So it's going to be great once we get all these trails and connected. But is the advisory board going to be included in that conversation? Because I can tell you we do. We want to be included, and the frustration is mounting about not being included, just coming here and getting notified that A, B, and C has happened. So we,
Fee schedule did not change. I want to make that clear. The last time it was changed was 2020.
Correct.
Questions that I've been hearing have been regarding the state budget in front of you, which I did. And the comment was after it went to council. I never was asked about the fee schedule. And I just want to be honest about this, transparent. I'm happy to put fee schedule on the agenda. I'm happy to bring it in front of you. I think with the grain of salt that you mentioned, and it's the same conversation I've had with council a few times, is you all have had these conversations over and over with other individuals. You have had these requests with other individuals. You have built these frustrations with other individuals. And stepping into the role that I have, take your previous predecessors' issues and take them onto yours and figure out how to mix it all together in a bowl and make something edible, right?
yep.
What I'm asking you is give me some ingredients to work with you to make it. I'm here and I'm saying our staff wants to work with you, we want to hear your thoughts, we want to bring them before council, but council decides to do what that is council.
That's right.
The staff side is here, we are listening, we have a interim director who's available. She's great, I think I'm pretty available to be a town manager, my door is always open. Just come talk to her, but we are here and we do hear you, and I do hear your frustrations. I hope I can overtime just because some of these things come to light. Thank you.
Thank you. It's not on there, but I always do open it up. Everybody who comes to this meeting, it's a open session. If anybody else would like to stand up and speak, please do. All right. Nobody ever does.
Hold on 1 second before we do this. I thought about while y'all were talking, could we also add to the agenda for next month to,
Next quarter.
next quarter, get an update on the tennis court situation? And just because for y'all that are here, it stands out when y'all are here, when people are here and ask questions, because that's how the whole tennis court came to be. We didn't realize, I don't play tennis, the status of the tennis courts, or even some of the nets had gotten changed to youth nets versus the adult nets, until somebody from the community brought it to our attention. So I am trying my best to make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks by just trying to get updates until we know that it's resolved. So
And I think once you go through and you start looking, if I'm not mistaken, there is a line item. The resurfacing of the courts.
in the budget.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
I really appreciate the way you all interact with each other and the way you show respect to your colleagues on the board. Very much appreciated. Thank you.
Nothing else?
I make a motion we adjourn.